Hello everyone, this is Sean Apollo Clark and welcome to episode number 3 of Improve with Apollo. So far we've had 2 episodes, excluding the announcement, and things have been going really smooth. I've got a lot of positive feedback and I hope that a lot of people are actually improving through watching these. Today though, we have a Diamond League Zerg player and I'm very excited to analyze this game. I watched this game very fastly before on like ×4, ×8. I think this is a great example of a lot of problems that a lot of players around this player range, around Diamond, Platinum, maybe even Low Masters may experience. So this is going to be a great episode for you guys for sure. But before we get into it, let's go ahead and look at who our actual participant here is in episode number 3. Hello Apollo, you are one cool person. I really love your work. I would like to submit an application to get my game reviewed so I can continue to improve. His real name here is Richard Hutton. 16 years old from Romania, and is a Diamond League Zerg player as mentioned before. Here's the description on how I'm meant to help him out, really. I've been playing StarCraft 2 since last summer. I started as a complete noob in Bronze League, and I've climbed my way up to Diamond, but I really want to get to Masters as soon as possible. I have a few problems against Terran in the mid-game, when they are the strongest, and they do that push around 50 minutes, and also my late-game army control needs some work too. I know I still have a lot to work on mechanics-wise, but what I'm really lacking is some decision-making and army control. Also, I have a hard time denying my opponent's expansions. If I could do that, I could get way ahead. I thought I might have to try some aggression at the start of the game, like mass Zerg attacks or roach link pressure to kill some SCVs. What are your thoughts? I've attached a couple of replays that I lost and played in the last couple of days. I would love for you to review them, offer me some guidance on where and how I can improve my game. Well, first of all, before we actually jump into the replay to analyze your game, I'm going to answer the question you talked a little bit about in the description here. Alright, so you talk about how that aggression at the start of the game, like a roachling or some kind of pressure attack, can do well against killing SCVs. Yes, it can do good for you. It can get you a lot of results. But I promise you, I guarantee in Diamond League, if you do something like this, you will mess up by getting overload capped because you will not be able to concentrate in 2 different locations at the same time. If you think about it, when you launch a roachling bailing assault, even if you don't dedicate as an all-in, and you have drones behind it, and you're building drones behind it, you now have to focus in 2 locations. Your own base, and focus on your own mechanics, your own macro, and then you have to focus on the attack and killing SCVs. And what happens if he defends it? Then you fall behind. And while doing this, you may make your own mistakes. I really think you'd make your own mistakes. Overload cap, not building drones, messing up lava injects, and stuff like this, which is very common when people in the lower leagues try aggression. So what I'd actually recommend you is to play normal and clean out the mistakes you make in the early game first, such as overlords, lava injects, and so on, creep spread. And then, if you're still having troubles getting to the mid game at a decent level, then maybe why don't you try some pressure? But I wouldn't recommend that to begin with here. I think that, like I said, you should focus on your own mistakes to begin with before you start punishing other people's mistakes. Alright, so let's go ahead now and get back into the game as we were just now and start this off. So in-game name here is Shade. We are going to have a Zerg versus Terran game here, and we're going to try and analyze everything that happens throughout this. So I'm going to pull down the production tab. We'll keep that off throughout and just go through this game at a decent speed. So on Cloud Kingdom as a Zerg player, you already should be focusing on the overload positions. I see you messed up a drone there, that's okay. People do it. Overload number 1 is going to be to the natural here and just overlooking, checking the expansion. And of course, overload number 2, you naturally want to have on your expansion to check for bunker rushes or anything along those lines. In Diamond League, you don't necessarily need to drone scout. It's something that I think could benefit you a lot. I think there may be a lot of 2 racks at this level, and even below that. So it's not actually uncommon for a lot of pro players to even drone scout as a Zerg player. I think Vortex is a prime example. He drone scouts every single game, and he's a professional level Zerg player playing against the best Terrans in Europe, and he drone scouts every game. Because if you drone scout and see the 2 racks coming, you're just mentally prepared. You know when to pull drones. You don't get surprised, and you just get an easy edge on defending it. Compared to if you don't, then you could get very easily surprised. For example, you're not drone scouting in this game. Oh, wait, yes you are. Okay, good. 2 racks could have been planted down here, and if you don't get a drone over there already, then you could have been in trouble. So I do like it that you attempt to drone scout. So good. Good start here. And second overload, obviously waiting on the natural. 15 hatchery coming down. That's good. And let's see what we can get in terms of results with this early drone scout. So if I'm drone scouting now, then I want to be looking to get in his main base before the supply depot's down. I want to check his gases and then check the orbital command timing. Is it immediately built as soon as the barracks is finished? Do we have a second supply depot? All those things I just listed are indications of a potential 2-Rex. That SCV looks like a scouting one going out. We go in, the barracks is finished now. Does he build an orbital command immediately? Yes. See? Now you already know it's not going to be a 2-Rex. Yes, if he's leaving to come and scout you. And then right now I just get out because he's probably just going to go 1 barracks command center. Especially if he doesn't have a second supply depot, which he doesn't. So that's even more indication that he's going to go for the command center play. And it looks like, well, he hasn't built it down yet. So we just back off and leave. SCV on the natural, good. We went for a spawning pool. Taking a gas. Alright, so taking a gas. Let me just pause it here. By the looks of it, he may have just thrown the command center in the main. I doubt it's a 2-Rex. I doubt he's thrown down like a couple of barracks. So even though you haven't scouted the command center, I'd still lead this to believe a 1 barracks expansion play. And you can always lean in, poke in with your overlord if necessary. As soon as you know, and actually I'm going to rewind it a little bit here. I think around 3 minutes or so is when we actually pointed out this is not going to be a 2-Rex. As soon as you see the orbital and you see that there's no second supply depot, obviously to continue to build Marines, then you now know it's not 2-Rex, right? So move your overlord. This overlord already should be going in kind of this. If we follow the minimap here, should be going up like this, you know, up this direction. And then somewhere around here maybe, and then cut up and then across into the back of his base. If you get to the back of his base here, you're going to be able to dart in to find out what's going on a little bit faster. And you already want to make that movement as soon as you can. Okie doke. So upon seeing no command center coming down, I think now this is what may have triggered you to go gas. But this may not be the case because you may have thrown it down a little bit earlier on. Okay, so that's not the case. So you decided to go gas no matter what. And the reason I can tell that is because the gas was down before the command center would have come down here. If the command center was going to come down, you already got gas building, which means, of course, you had planned to get gas. This is okay to do so. I'm not a big fan of it, but it's good. So I'll give you the advantages and disadvantages of going for a gas early on. The advantages being that you can get Zergling speed out, you're a lot safer. A second advantage is you can play mind games with him to keep him on his toes, keep him a little bit worried about potential all-ins coming. The other advantage from getting this, let me think, you're better off scouting, you can get more scouting information. You can deny scouting information as well. The disadvantages, though, it kind of hurts your queen production, unless you cut drones a little bit. So let me just rewind and have a look here. So spawn and pull finishes. Let's have a look. Spawn and pull finishes here. So you should be building a queen on the main immediately and a queen on the natural, but you can't build anything in terms of lings. You have to cut ling production up if you're going to get a gas like this. So queen should be built now. You got 300 minerals now. Queen, 300 minerals. But what we see here is you decide to get lings instead of a queen in the main base. This is, of course, one of the reasons to get the lings out is because he just moved out 2 marines here. But you don't need to worry about that. I would have built 4 lings after the queen. I would have gone queen, wait, 4 lings, then get this. If he comes at you on the natural with 2 of 3 marines, just don't mine from there. Kill the marines after when the lings pop out. You do not need a spine crawl. This is an overreaction now, and this is actually cutting in to your unit production and also the queen in the main. For example, you want to be going speed right now because you've got 100 gas, right? And you want to be taken out. So because of getting early gas, you kind of disjointed your build a little bit. If you want to get speed now, which you should be, that's the reason we got gas, to get speed out nice and fast. You take out a gas and you get speed, but because you've got a spine crawler, you can get speed, but you're not going to get a queen. So you either get a queen and delay speed, we'll see what you do. So 6 lings is a bit of an overreaction too. That's a drone missing. I would have gone for 4. Still no queen, you got speed. Okay, so you did get speed early on, but you didn't get a queen in the main, and this is hurting your long term here. And he, you know, isn't even doing anything with Marines. So you overreacted a little bit here. Spine crawler unnecessary. 2 lings and a queen is actually good enough to defend against like 2-3 Marine pushes. Even though you're not 100% sure. Okay, let's have a look at this. I was going to say, even though you're not 100% sure he's expanded, why is the command center here? Did he lift up? And did he build it in the main, lift up, put down? Did he build it there and your overlord was out of position? Let's just rewind and look at everyone's view. C. Alright. Okay, we weren't meant to map pack to get the third command center scout, but we did. Alright, look. Overlords. Bad. Very bad. Very bad. So if we just rewind it a minute and come back to when he had 400 minerals, he's building it down here. So you were kind of in the dark when you shouldn't have been in the dark, if that makes sense. Just poke in, see if it's there or not. And you wouldn't have been so much in the dark. Maybe you wouldn't have thrown down the spine crawl, or maybe you wouldn't have, you know, built 6 slings. Because I think you may have done that just because you didn't see the command center and you're a little bit afraid of what's going on. So that's a mistake on your behalf in terms of overlord position. Alright, so let's just get back to where we were. So the spine crawl's finishing up. The Ling's now looking around for those marines, I suppose. We have speed on the way. Great. You want to be thinking about an overlord already. 31 supply out of 36. I'm just going to check your lava. Open up the production tab. No overlord yet. Okay, so you're going to grab an expansion. A pretty fast expansion too. That's okay to do so. Expansion, then overlord is fine if you want to get a fast third. I guess it makes sense considering you have got Zergling speed out. You can defend it a little bit easier. Make sure to get it down though. What did you just build? Ah, you cheeky guy. You built 2 overlords. Alright, so you could have just built the 2 overlords when I said then. But never mind, you do get both down. Alright, so Zergling got to spot the third base, good. These 3 Lings, just looking around. Drones, 200 minerals and resources. Lava inject in the main, just some simple basic stuff. Make sure to keep building these drones. Good, 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 good. No need to do anything yet. Since you got speed out, that's fine. I'd probably, at this point, you missed a lava inject in the main. Around 6 minutes is when we start to see Hellions come out. Just 6:20 or so on. So if you look in the production tab, or look over at him, this is when it's starting to set itself up. But he's gone for a third command center, which has delayed this, right? So it is a little bit later than it usually would be. At 6 minutes now, or just, you know, after it is fine as well. I'd get into this gas. I'd make a second, and I'd probably make a third gas. I'd make all 3. Because if you look at your drone mark, you're at 24, but it's about to increase because you should have hit a lava inject. You should be building more and more drones, right? So going into these gases and starting to take these gases, you have to start looking to get the evolution chambers down and so on, to start moving on to the next stage of the game. I'm a little bit worried, though, because you haven't, or because the way you've played this out, okay, you are taking a gas, good. You want to actually have additional queens. Roach Warren coming down is arguable. You know, it's okay, it's not bad, but I would have liked to see queens rather than a Roach Warren. Queens are so good at defending against Hellion Banshee. Roaches are just good against Hellions. Queen also delivers crit spread. So these are things that we don't really have going for us in this game at the moment. Alright, so I would have thrown down the third gas as well. The reason why I throw down all 3 gases is because you want to be able to afford 250 gas for upgrades and also 100 gas for layer. That's not cheap. You've got 2 gases, you're only at 150. So with a third gas, you'd already start to increase that. Especially if you have a Roach Warren down, you definitely need a third gas because you won't be able to research both upgrades, 250 and go layer, and build roaches. You won't be able to do all of it. So you need to add on a third gas and then potentially a 4th gas, especially now you're approaching 2 base saturation. Let's check your waypoints. Okay, mistake. The reason why I checked your waypoints is because drones are moving down to the 3rd base. Look in your main base here, Shade, is that you have all these drones, but you don't have a good amount of drones in the mineral line. The ideal drone count for a Zerg player here, or any race, is minimum of 2 lines in minerals. You have just under that. So minimum of 16, looking at 18 is healthy for drone saturation on mineral lines. So when you only have 14 here, you're missing mineral income. On your natural is good, but you need to drone up more towards this natural because you should be looking at 4 gases by now, 8 minutes in the game. You know, I said 3 gases at 6 minutes. You should be at 4 gases by 8 minutes because you're going layer, because you want to start banking money towards infestors. You want to get double upgrades. You want to build roaches maybe if you've got a Roach Warren down. But we do see the Hellions out now with our Lings. And this overlord's a little bit late, but at least it's there. I mean, it could have been faster, like I mentioned earlier, if you sent it straight away. Lings get the scout of double gases, but at 8:30, that's okay, that's fine. Actually, hold that thought. What did I just say? Double gases this early. No, wait a minute. That's a little bit early for double gases to be down, because he should have added on extra production first. Let's have a look. Okay, yeah, so he's just playing very greedy in this game. So it's not actually normal to see these gases so fast. And initially, if I was you, I would have thought this could have been potential mech play already. But going in, you see the additional production come down. He's playing a very greedy style, very weak against any all-in play or anything along those lines. He's got a great upgrade going already. 3 command centers, very late production. So he's in quite a bad shape if he was to be attacked at this moment, for example. But that's not the case. All right, let's pause and have a look at what's going on. And now look at this. You're taking more drones from the main base to build a baleen nest, to build a hatchery. You've now gone down in drones. Look, you've now gone down from 14 to 12. And that's bad saturation in the main base. You're missing a 4 to 6 drones in your main base because you've built these structures. So always be on top of that on your drone production. You're at 46 at the moment. You need 4 gases if you're at layer. And you can see now what I talked about earlier. You've got, how many roaches have you got out? 4 roaches, but you haven't got melee upgrades. Because you know, like I said, you've spread out your gas so thin on two extractors here that you can't afford the necessary upgrades. So you need a melee. Before you're going layer, or as you're going layer, you need all 4 gases. Because as soon as that layer is done, your infestation pit should be coming down. Like, as soon as that's done. And then you want to research pathogen glands, you want to build the infestors. You've also thrown down a baling nest, which means you're pretty much going to have to get baling speed right away if you're going to play with balings. You're going to have to morph balings, and you can't do that off 2 gases. So if we rewind here, just to go ahead and highlight this. At 6 minutes, I would have gone back into a gas here. At 6 minutes, absolutely. Back into gas, second gas taken, larva inject, continuing to build drones. I wouldn't have even thought about Ling production at the moment. Just drones, 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 drones. I would have taken a second and third gas while taking a third base, while droning. Of course, you are a little bit behind where I would have liked to have been because you built 6 Lings, because you got a spine crawler, because your queen was late, because you got gas earlier on. But that's okay. That's just one way to get to the same place. But now get back into shape. Get all these gases up, get into the gas. Going into the gas now at 6:30 is fine. Second gas at 6:30 is fine, considering that, like I said, you're behind in a little bit in terms of where a Zerg player would normally be. Then take a third gas at the same time so you can afford double evolution chamber, roach warren. I would have preferred double evolution chamber first, but that's a preference style. I am actually very confident with Lings, but the problem is you do not have creep spread. So your Lings are not as strong as they would be if you had creep spread, because it is easier to surround Hellions, for example. So roaches makes more logical sense considering you don't have the creep spread. All right, so going back into where we were now, we've seen his plan. So as soon as you see his plan here, I would be a little bit wary of Hellions still coming in, but we do have a handful of roaches. To be honest, I'm still droning at the moment with 4 roaches. 1, 2, 3 queens roughly at the front of your base and creep spread starting to connect. I'm still droning, especially because we're at 44 drones. I want to be at least 55 drones. 10 more drones would really make me happy, and those 10 drones would be in the main base for sure. Oh god, look at that. Wait a minute, am I doing something wrong here? Hold on. Yeah, holding caps lock. Alright, so 4 drones in the main, please. 6 drones on the natural, please, to go into the gases. You probably don't even need all those drones over there, because that's the danger zone where Hellions and Banshees are going to be. So make sure to saturate your main and natural, the 2 safest locations first, and fully saturate them first, and then think about taking the third base and starting to saturate over there. Because these drones, these are the vulnerable drones for sure. This is walled off. He's never going to get in your main, so think about that first. I mean, like I said, you're missing 4 in the main, you're missing 8 on the natural, so a total of 12. How many do you have on here? 8, 10, 12. See, all those drones could be being used smartly in the main and natural, and then you could be building excess drones towards this third base if you wanted to continue to drone. These 11 new drones could be on this third base. Alright, so let's continue to play through. We saw a Banshee come past this Overlord. Spore Crawlers are incredibly late. Spore Crawler should have already been built down, by at least the 9-minute mark. At least one Spore Crawler here. To be honest, now you've seen the Banshee, I'd build 1 there, I'd also build 1 here, and I'd build 1 here. Just so you can go ahead and scout, detect any Club Banshees if they were to come in. The Hellions are in. You got your queens, you got your roaches, so you're going to push this back easily. He's not really doing anything controlling them wise either. So that's going to be an easy pickup for you. And as soon as you kill these Hellions, I'm droning even harder now, because I would have stopped to build drones before, like I said, 10 more drones to build units to defend against this. But if this is now gone, then go back to drones. You know he's got a third command center. You know that he doesn't have production in an army. You know he only has Hellions potentially and Banshees. So in that production tab, I just saw you build a lot. I hope to God they're drones. Good. Very good. Very, very, very good to see drones in that production tab. And now saturate these bases correctly. Take the gases on this third base now as well. You're into the next stage of the game. You take the gases on the third base now because you've just built 21 drones. If you think you just built 21 drones, you're currently sitting on 54. 54 plus 21 is 75. Bam it. Yeah, 75 drones. So if you've got 75 drones, that is easily 3 base saturation. That is easily all 6 gases now taken and being used. So take these gases, because what you're going to have to afford now, which I do not see yet, is an infestation pit. Is 2-2 shortly. Look at that, very close to finishing, and 2-2 gets more expensive for you. So like melee is 150, 150, and I think this is like even more expensive, like 225 or something like this. So you have to be very, very cautious on your gas income, which I think will start to make a big difference in this game shortly. Crete spread is lacking a lot. You do want to get additional queens out. You only have 3. You're building the 4th one in the main base, but I'd want a couple more. You have to get Crete spread out there. You've only got 1, 2, 3 active Crete tumors. So infestation pit does come down. Cool. Okay, drone saturation on the natural. Bad, bad, bad. Bad, 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 bad. Only 2 in gas. Bad, 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 bad. Over droned. Bad, 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 bad. Under droning. Bad, 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 bad. No gases. Bad, 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 bad. So these are the bad, bad, bads that you have to work on here to actually improve yourself for sure. Just make sure to get these all sorted out. And when you get these sorted out, you will notice the difference in your economy. It's so streamlined. You can't do anything to prevent this from going down, as you mentioned in the email, so don't worry about that. There's nothing you can do. That's going to be taken now, but you should be taking a 4th base, which, surprisingly, is in the top left. Alright, from experience, I don't really like this in the top left. Very simple. If he's going to drop you, then let's say he has his army usually going to be in around this area, because he's now got a 3rd base. He's going to want to protect it, right? He's probably going to pick up from this location and will go left like this. He'd cut across that angle, and if he cuts across this angle, if he doesn't take a shortcut, and if he goes at this angle, he's going to just go straight past this. He'll see it, and then he'll drop it, and then you just got wasted. So just take a normal 4th base. There's no reason to hide a 4th base. Build it here. If you want to go a 4th and a 5th, build it here, which is easier for you to defend. Take the Zelnoga towers. You know, he doesn't have any Hellions left. You haven't got any map control at the moment. Crete spread is okay. It is, like, it's not good, but it's okay. How much is that dam upgrade? Okay, that's +2. Yeah, 225. So it's an expensive one. So you need a lot of gas. So as you get +2 here, what we're going to notice is that you're going to need +2 melee as well, and you don't have any gas because you get bailing speed. You need the gases on the natural, which you are not finally taking, which is good, and you do get that. And you need to get this immediately as well, which you don't quite have the gas for. As soon as you can afford it, you want to be getting it. Upgrade is very, very important. You just wasted a lot of money on, okay, not wasted, but used a lot of money on 38 links, which is good. Your overloads are good as well. Alright, so getting into these gases, big mistake, not getting into these gases. Like I said, macro hatch is fine. Alright, I'm going to give you a quick tip. Quick tip, which again I should have made a video on. You don't need 2 queens for 2 macro hatches, just 1. The reason for that is, let's click the main queen here. Look how you have 48 energy, 42 energy behind on lava injects. The macro hatches only need 1 queen for two hatcheries, your main and a macro hatch. You don't need to have 2 queens for two hatches, because you're not going to hit the lava injects. You're already behind on lava injects with the new queen you built. You're already at 26 energy. Even though you're about to waste it, let's see, I mean, you're about to use it. Look. And now they're being used. You come back to lava inject, and okay, so you're 30 energy behind, right? So if you now think about that, to keep your queen energy consistently low. In an ideal world, we never, ever, ever miss a larva inject, and you'd always have the queen energy low. But you're in Diamond League. There's a lot of stuff to do here. Build 2 hatcheries for 1 queen. That queen energy will always be low. Well, I swear to God, it'll always be low, and you always have the larva you need. Take that tip into your game, and it will change a lot. Alright, 2-2's on the way now. We're starting to get the 4th base out, and we are starting to move around actively with units, which is good. Drone transfer, this is like I don't like, because like I mentioned before. 2 medivacs making the way out, and we also have a Banshee here. 2 medivacs should have caught your eye. So you should be dealing with this, and at the same time thinking about those 2 medivacs that just came down the right-hand side. And you deal with this Banshee. Infestors are very late in this game. Like, infestors should be the things that help you deal with these drops, right? And you haven't built them. You want to be building... The infestors are so crucial in your game plan. So crucial. Drop still on the bottom right here. He's at 1-1 upgrades. You know, you should have Lings and infestors out by now, getting ready to stop this kind of stuff, while taking a 4th and 5th base, while going up to Hive. Your Hive actually pretty late. Your estimated Hive timing is 12 minutes, okay? Even earlier sometimes. Like, you should be going there very fast. Your 2-2's almost done. You don't want to stay there. Okay, you start it as I say it. It is a little bit late, though. 2 medivacs still coming. You spot a 4th base. You do deny it, which is nice. But you need a faster Hive for sure. Spore crawlers and spines. Okay. That's okay. Or just all spore crawlers. Where's that drop gone? Okay, you're not really sending enough to deal with it. You don't have roach speed. If you're going to have a handful of roaches, you might as well get roach speed. Infestors are very late in this game. Okay, now they're popping out. You're going to lose some drones here, which is not so good for you. You're being slowed down when you shouldn't be. Like I said, you should be a lot further ahead than you actually are at the moment. Infestors, which already shut this down, and you're trading really bad. 2-2 against 1-1, even without combat shields. Where are those infestors? Those infestors should be in there. You're losing a lot of resources there for not really gaining anything. So that's a little bit sloppy. Your infestors are just there. You need queen on this base. You need to be going straight for 3-3. Your gas is still low because you haven't taken the gases on your 3rd base either. So big mistake over there. You got gases in the top left, but you haven't got your gases on your 3rd. This is slowing you down. When your money is this high, max out in Lings. Because that's all you can do right now. Build 150 Lings, just whatever. Just build it. 3-3 should start like that. With a click of the finger. 3-3 should start. Adrenal gland should start now. Spire's down. That's very bad as well. I didn't expect you to go Spire here. I expected you to go Ultraless Cavern. Your Spire is bad now because it's late. It should have been built as the Hive was built, so you can go straight to Greater Spire. You should be morphing to Greater Spire by now. But because you've done this, it's going to delay everything. Your Ultraless Cavern should have been the smoothest, fastest choice for you. Still at 2-2. He's making a movement down, and it seems like he's coming down with quite a few units. Max out, try and get as many units out as you can. Punish this, kill these medivacs. Fungal, 1 fungal. Or what you want to do is go 3 infested Terrans, 1, 2, 3, fungal. And then secondary fungal. So you did it backwards. If you get the infested Terrans down first, you don't have to use as many fungals. Because obviously you let them survive. Okay. You let them survive. Alright, this attack coming in now, which is the biggest problem that you have. You either, with all the infestors you have, which should be higher, by the way, because your gas is low, you finally gotten the gas here. With all the infestors you have 2 choices with this fight. You either go in now as he's walking on creep, before he's ready, or you don't go in at all. You make the choice to go in with Ling and Infestor, or you wait or don't go in because of the Banelings. You've lost this position now. As soon as he gets on the high ground here, scans and gets rid of the creep tumors and sieges up, you've lost your position. So you can't even go in there anymore because you're fighting uphill. You can't see anything. His tanks and marines are spread. It's now a no-go area for you. So you give up this base. You're not even mining from it, right? You don't need it. Things that you should be focusing on is now, instead of this base, focus on this one up here. Look at your drones in the main. Oh, it's scary. Only 7 in the main now because you've been building structures. focus on this base. Now, this is your 4th base. It's 3 base versus 4 base. This is something that you should be in control of. Do not fight here, otherwise you just can lose everything. So let's have a look. You got everything. You got 1 Banelings on 1, Lings on 1, Infestors on 2. You've lost this position. There's no way. Look at that. 4 tanks behind this line. 2 tanks up there with +2, 2 Marines. You've lost it. So you either, like I said, attack it before it's ready, or you don't go at all and just take this base and play it later on. You have an Ultras Cavern finishing up. You have a 4th base up there. So I don't think that it's wise to go in here. But I do want to, before we look at this, move down a bit to this stage of the game, to 15 minutes. This creep spread stopped going at 15 minutes. It should keep on going. Like, I don't know why it was placed there. Maybe just because you're playing fast. It should have been over here, and you should be aiming to get down here. You do have Burrow, I think. Yeah, you do. Wait, check. Yeah, you have Burrow. So a Zergling, instead of doing it there, I mean, that's a good position to have, but you could have had one under his 4th base to prevent him taking a 4th base easily if you can't quite get your creep spread there. That's how to deny these bases. Another one denying over there and so on. Alright, so let's go ahead and just come back to this fight here. So you start to morph your Banelings, and production tab, Ultras Cavern, Spire's about to finish up. You do have decent income. Like I said, it is low because your main base is low. This base is low. Look at your saturation here. Very, very low. Your drone count's at 62 because you built Spores, Spines, Ultras Cavern. You had drones down here. Always be on top of your drones. That's good on the natural now. Let's go play. Alright, so you send some units up there. Okay, so it looks like... Oh, not in hold position. Oh, you lose a lot. And that's probably just going to push you in, isn't it? Yeah. Alright, so you decided to take an unfavorable engagement, which you're never winning, by the way. There's no way on God's earth you winning this. So, you use too many tanks, too many Marines. Good spread by him. And, yeah, everything just detonates. And even if he's not really fighting, just detonates on the tanks. Infestors now, because you don't have high ground. So you lose a lot, you can't target anything, and now you've just lost everything. Down in 95 supply, while being dropped on the main, you forgot to Spine Crawler, Spore Crawler over here. At least pick up this one and put that over there, and you've just now crumbled. So throughout this game, you've maintained a pretty decent concentration level, and it's been good, there's been minor mistakes, and then bam, everything's dead and gone because of that big error towards the end. There was really no need for you to fight there. You concentrate on, you know, look at his army here. For example, if you hadn't have thrown stuff away, you have 2 Ultralists on the way, and you do have a lot of gas again. You've got this base up in the top left. If you hadn't have lost stuff over here as well, you'd be able to get Ultralists out. May have not been able to get the upgrades as well, but you could have easily continued through on this game. With a borrowed Zergling on his 4th base, you would have been able to continue through and so on. So I think that, like I said before, the concentration and playing level was good, it was consistent, and then it just dropped. And that was through this position here, and I think that your experience isn't quite there with dealing with this situation, and you should have said, all right, cool, you well done, Terran player, you got me, well done. Now go and just disappear, go take a new 4th base, new 5th base. You've already got a 4th base, and he's on 3, so it's not like you need to save this location, right? And that's where the biggest fall came down. But overall, I mean, there's a lot of things to focus on throughout this video, and I think that you can improve on them and become a better player. Things will become easier if you take in the small minor issues that I laid out to you, improve on them, don't make those same mistakes, and then things like at this stage of the game when you're in this position become a lot easier because you do have 3-3 coming. You do have Ultras already out. You have them already on their way. You already have Creep and a Zergling buried on his 4th base and so on. So things naturally become easier once you iron out these smaller mistakes that happen throughout the early and mid stages of this game. Alright, so Shade, thank you for sending in your email and the replay, of course. Thank you for sharing it with everybody here today, and I hope that everyone that's been watching has enjoyed it and can learn from this. You know, like I said, this is a diamond level Zerg versus Terran game. It's been a pleasure doing this for you guys. Episode number 4 should hopefully be out tomorrow, depending on circumstances. But once again, thank you very much. Make sure to subscribe to this channel. Make sure to follow me on Twitter, which is ApolloSC2. Thank you very much, guys, for watching this video. Signing off.